Well, it's Friday morning. It's the 9 o'clock hour. We've been doing this now for the last couple of months, bringing in a guest here into the studio for a half-hour sit-down. And I figured when I saw the news this week that it was the 70th anniversary of one of the iconic restaurants in this town, Jasper's. We had to get our guy, Jasper Mirable, in the studio. Of course, the show airs at 11 a.m., Saturday mornings here on KCMO. How are you? Happy 70th anniversary, my friend.
Thank you, Pete. You know, what a week this has been. What a year, of course.
Yeah.
But celebrating 70 years. I'm so fortunate. I've been here for about, 45 or so at the restaurant. So I've seen a few of the years, my brother Leonard and myself. But it is really something else to be the one right now to represent the restaurant and go out there and meet everybody and the people, the older guests. Oh, my God. They're coming out like, people 90, 95 on Monday nights coming to the restaurants.
So they remember the old spot.
We talk about the old days all the time.
So 1954, right?
Yes.
That's when it would open up with your father?
My father, my mom, Leonard, Leonardo, my grandpa, and Mama Josephine. But I didn't know this myself. People don't even know this story until this week. I told it Monday on Fox 4. Okay, you ready for this? The restaurant was really just a bar. And it was a bar that my dad bought. It only had 12 tables and about 8 seats at the bar. And my nana would make meatballs at the counter, and she would bring them up from home, and she would serve them on the counter there. Back then, instead of giving peanuts out to make people drink, she gave meatballs out.
So meatballs and beer and booze and whatever.
And people started asking for her recipes, and that's how the restaurant developed. I didn't know that story. My brother Leonard told me that one.
Really?
Yeah,
okay,
I thought I was the resident historian.
Yeah, so he got you beat. So 1954, what's going on in Kansas City and in your dad's life at that time that, made him want to do this?
So he had a couple bars and restaurants at the Southern Mansion and other restaurants on Broadway and Main Street. And he had an offer to go either to buy the Savoy Grill or to come out south at 75th and Warnell. Now, going out south, the streetcar stopped at 77th Street. Okay. 73rd Street, rather.
Okay.
So everybody told him, you're absolutely crazy. No one's going. It's a gravel road. No one's going that way. There was an old bar there on the corner, and and you should see the old pictures, the black and white photos. I mean, it was pretty dark back then, that area. And when I mean that, I'm telling you, it was like nothing. It was like grass and, fields and all that.
Wow.
And he took a chance. April 1st is when they opened up, and he always used to say, and it was always a big celebration on April 1st. Hey, the joke's on.
Yes.
There it is, buddy.
Yes.
April 1st, it's no April Fool's joke.
That's amazing. All right, so what the appetite and the history of just the Italian heritage and Italian food in this town in the 1950s.
Sure.
For we know, and I didn't realize this till I got here a few years ago, that there is a strong Italian connection here in this town. What was it in 1954?
Sure, especially in the North End and the Northeast, Lujan's and Jenny's restaurant, the Italian Gardens. Those were the staples at the time of Italian restaurants, but nothing out south. Mm-hmm. And my dad likes to say, that the Lusco family brought pizza to Kansas City. First ones to serve pizza. But my dad and Paul Silvio opened up the first pizzeria, and that was Antonio's.
Okay.
And at that time, can you imagine there's no pizza in Kansas City?
It's crazy.
And
but
your mama made it at
1950.
home, and aunts and grandmas made it at home, and that was it.
Yeah.
And they eventually went on, and Pizza Hut, the guys from Pizza Hut who started, used to come in and kind of get ideas from Wichita. Now, you imagine that?
No kidding.
Yeah, we met one of them I guess it was about 20 years ago, who came in the restaurant and told us he kept bugging Paul about what kind of cheese he was using and this and that. So, wow. But you just didn't have those things in Kansas City. You ate now remember this, the restaurants back then especially, that was a big time if you went out to eat. Mm-hmm. Pooch's and all those older restaurants. I mean, Gilbert Robinson wasn't even heard of at the time.
Yeah.
The Plaza had a couple places, Bretton's. But, there was no really place to go out south and dress up and eat. And it really wasn't fine dining at all. Not those days.
It wasn't.
No. It was family style, mom and pop, Nana in the kitchen, mom waiting tables, dad waiting tables, no hostess, 3 or 4 employees.
Wow. So you're born what year then?
I was born in 62. Leonard was born in 54.
Okay, so he's born the year the restaurant
He's my
opens.
resident historian.
Yeah,
so Leonard knows all the stories. I thought I knew him, but Leonard's the one who told me about the bar and about the meatballs and how we started. I got to bring that back. I got to start serving meatballs in the bar.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I'm telling you.
I'll just start posting up for, some meatballs and beer at lunch.
Meatballs and martinis, come on.
I like the sound of that.
Bring the martini lunch back. I like it.
I love it. Jasper's in studio, 70 years this week for Jasper's Restaurant. And I got to also imagine then the most of the Italians in 1954 in Kansas City were not out south.
No. You're out north. You're in northeast or North Kansas City.
So you had to really introduce Italian food to people who are not Italian.
And that's what my dad did. I mean, of course he started off, and that's what we've gone back to a lot. We say, something old, something new. I'm not talking about old food. Come on.
Yeah.
But, bringing back the old dishes, the chicken parmesan, which really isn't too authentic. It's not, it's not something you see in Italy. But the lasagna, the pasta dishes, and we've gone full circle with the menu. And back then, it was just a mom and pop restaurant. Luncheon was 59 cents.
Wow.
3 courses, of course.
Yeah.
And a dip of vanilla ice cream. I look on the old menu, I see fruit cocktail. I see some of the old cocktails, But, serving fruit cocktail or cottage cheese back in the day. I remember I started back in 1969, 1970 in the kitchen cutting bread like all the Mirable boys did.
Yeah.
And all the nephews and nieces all start that way, too, still today.
That's amazing. All right, so then take me through 1954, fast forward, you're born, you start working.
Sure.
When does it become more than just the mom and pop place?
It wasn't until 1962, and my father bought another part of the building there on 75th Street. And then little by little, he would add on. And it really wasn't until 1968 when he did a complete remodel, put in the fireplace, put in 3 dining rooms and a big banquet room. And that's when he kind of revamped the menu. In 1972, we received the Mobile 4 stars and the AAA for Diamond and the Holiday Award, which just put the restaurant on the map. The 76 restaurant convention, the 76 Republican
RNC,
convention
yeah.
in Time Magazine, that was it. That really, I still feel today, that made Jasper's.
1976 Republican convention. What happened there for you guys that put it on the map?
That week and the week before, people coming out and people, here you go. You have Ronald Reagan eating at Jasper's. No, there's no way in the world you think about that today. But, he was running for president then, and the Secret Service staying open at nighttime, and the crowds and the politicians and the people. Who was the first asked? John Glenn.
Yeah.
John Glenn, you should see the menus that we have, the autographs that they used to sit there. Ed Asner. The people from Kansas City and from outside who used to dine at Jasper's. Anthony Quinn. Ed McMahon stayed for a week. He used to come to our house.
Wow.
So Mitzi Gaynor, people like this, all the football players. And Len Dawson was so close to us. My father, Hank Stram, his family, used to spend Christmas Eve with us at the house. So a lot of friendships, a lot of great, over the year, many people, started eating at Jasper's, especially during that time, and it just became the place to go out south.
And by then, 75th and Warnell is kind of booming a little bit.
Yeah, so it started.
20 years.
You had Cats across the street. They put the road in, in the 60s, so it went to 91st Street.
Mm-hmm.
So now you had a little bit more. State Line was still a little dirt road still, in the early 60s.
Wow.
But that's when it all began, and that's my dad just kept remodeling every year. The restaurant just kept growing and growing every year.
And then let's fast forward to 99.
Sure.
You move out to your current location.
Sure.
How controversial was that in the family?
It was, and we didn't tell anybody, and maybe that was on us, but we weren't ready. We weren't prepared to let everybody know what we were doing.
So you're running the show at this point?
Exactly. Leonard and myself and my father. My father was in the time retiring, but he had a deal going with Walgreen. I was the first one back in 97. I was against it. Walgreen, 2 years that took. And we wouldn't let him in. And my dad would not give it. It wasn't about the money.
Walgreens?
On 75th and Warnell.
Okay.
But there were the drug wars, quote unquote, back then. CVS was right across the street from us. But it wasn't. And also, not Costco. What was it called back then? Osco. Mm-hmm. OSCO was there on the other corner. So they all wanted that corner. Everybody wanted 75th and Warnell.
Where you were.
Exactly. And we had the trattoria there. It's called Trattoria Marco Polo, Marco Polo's Deli. We had a coffee shop, a real European coffee shop before all that Starbucks stuff.
Yeah.
And, of course, the flagship restaurant, Jasper's. So it took 2 years, and we would not tell anybody. And her and Christopher found out about it from the Kansas City Star. And he kind of blew it up, and that's when everybody found out that we were selling the restaurant to Walgreens. And then we had to find a location, and we looked everywhere. 119th was really the first chosen spot.
119th and what?
Rosanna Square, the privateer's property.
Oh,
that was the first
okay.
one, but my dad wanted his own property. And Watts Mill came available, and we moved down there. Took a little bit to build the building, city issues and all, and building.
Yeah.
I won't even go there. We'll get Leonard in for that story.
Yeah. So, all right. So then you wanted the property.
Exactly.
And that's why the place you're at now was so attractive.
Exactly. And we wanted that corner. You know, I can still hear people saying a shopping center. How can Jasper's go into a shopping center? What's the difference? You know, you need to tear down half the building and leave the other part for the restaurant. And why? And not have income from the shopping center. So Goodyear's on one end and we're on the other end. And it's been such a great deal. The shopping center, 100% occupancy. It took about 2 years for us to get that shopping center back in. We've remodeled the shopping center twice now. I think it looks great right now as is.
Wow. No, it looks great. Now, it's funny you mentioned that because one thing someone said to me, they had spent time on both coasts.
Sure.
They ended up in Dallas, right? And when I was coming out here to Kansas City 6 years ago now, they said the biggest thing you'll have to get used to is great restaurants being in shopping centers.
Exactly.
It's not going to be just that, mom and pop location on the corner like what you get in a lot of the coastal cities.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But there's great restaurants.
I will tell you, in New Jersey, one of my favorite Italian restaurants, a popular one, can't even get into half the time, and it's in a shopping center. And that kind of convinced me.
What is it, out of curiosity?
Spumoni Gardens.
Oh, okay.
And so I love those kind of old, iconic restaurants. And that's what I do with the restaurant. I try to bring things back, kind of like what I did here. I just got back from Sicily. I brought you something that you've never seen before.
You did. And by the way, you're right, because once you get in the building, it doesn't matter. Once
exactly.
you're in
and
there.
I told someone that a couple weeks ago. He came in and he was complaining because he didn't get a booth. Okay, so there's only 9 booths in the restaurant. 5 of those booths are taken every Friday night and Saturday. They're sold before.
By the same people.
By the same people. And they'll call us and tell us. This is like Rayo's in New York,
Yeah.
But they'll call and tell us a week before when they're leaving that night, say, hey, I'm going to Florida. I'm going somewhere. I won't be here next Saturday or Friday night. You can go ahead and release the booth. But that's their table. And the gentleman got mad at me and said, I can't believe I can't have a booth. I said, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I don't have it available. Well, that's ridiculous. I said, did you come for the food? You come for the booth. Well, I just want to sit in a booth that's more comfortable. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But sit down, and he left, shook my hand. Actually, his wife gave me a hug. That was the best dinner we have had. Oh, my God. I said, well, thank you. Gave him my card. That's another secret of mine, my card.
Oh, yeah?
I carry 10 cards in my pocket every morning.
Oh, that's great.
I make sure those 10 cards are gone.
Smart.
Before the end of the night. I don't care if I have someone park in my car.
Yeah.
I'm at a car wash or anywhere, at the department, I hand it out. And I see those people at my restaurant. I tell them to come in. I want to take care of them because that's me. I feed people. I love to take care of people.
You ever been to Rayo's in New York?
Oh, yeah. My father went the first time, sat at the table with Frankie Pellegrino. He pulls his chair up sideways right to the table and starts talking to my dad. My dad met him at Macy's. We were doing our sauces. Right when we started selling our sauces, our tomato sauce and Italian salad dressings.
Oh, that's amazing. Jasper Mirable is on KCMO Talk Radio. What do you have for us here? Before we take a quick break, I want to know what you got for us here.
Sure. So I brought you some Italian donuts.
Oh, my goodness.
Some you have in the fall and spring, early spring. And they're filled with whipped cream. Mertozza. I'm going to put them on social media.
Donuts with whipped cream in the middle.
Oh, my God. Now,
are you trying to kill us
here?
But
I'm telling you, these are unbelievable. Lisa made the donuts. I made the fresh whipped cream. It wasn't hard for me. I showed her a few pictures how we're going to do it. But this is the first time you'll ever see these in Kansas City. Now, come on, donuts and whipped cream, you think, no big deal. They eat these in Rome for breakfast and Naples for breakfast. Just like that. You split
How do they
eat them
say
with a fork.
skinny? I mean, they're all thin over there.
The Mediterranean diet. I just got back. I lost 3 pounds while I was in Sicily.
That's amazing.
You walk 5 miles a day, and you live that lifestyle. A little bit of wine, a little bit of pasta.
10,000 steps a day, 15,000 steps a day.
You're not kidding. Exactly. You hit it there.
That's the lifestyle.
Hit it there.
And, we're just hopping in our big gas guzzlers and going on.
And they eat local. They eat fresh. Whatever, they go to the store every morning. They get their fresh vegetables, their fresh seafood, their fresh meat.
No processed foods, right?
No, exactly. You said it right there. That's it.
But they can still have a donut filled with.
Oh, yeah, they'll do that, especially the tourists. But you'll see them in the morning. In the bigger cities, you'll see this.
That is a thing of beauty. John and Mark are salivating in there.
I love it.
I can see them.
I brought enough.
Hey, guys, stay tuned. You gotta stay on the job here for the next few minutes, all right? We are here with our Friday featured guest, Jasper Mirable. 70 years this week for Jasper's restaurant. A lot's changed, obviously, not just in 70 years, Jasper, but how about as we spend the next few minutes on this, the last 4 to 5 years, the way that the cost of everything has gone up, it's got to be very tough for the industry. Cost of hiring chefs and everything else, right?
Exactly. Well, the employees deserve the money. They deserve what they get. My people who have stayed with me, cooks for 45 years, bartenders,
that's amazing.
Hostesses, for 20 years, cashiers in the deli for 15, 18 years. They deserve what they get paid, especially since COVID.
Yeah.
But I don't understand, the prices that we pay, and we've had to pass on. And you know what? We have not passed them on like you should. You still come into Marco Polo's. I want to make sure it's a deal. Every night from 3 o'clock until closing, $12 a complete meal. A lasagna, same size you get in the dining room. Soup, salad, and ice cream.
That's amazing.
So,
for
fettuccine
$12.
Alfredo, spaghetti and meatball one night, and ravioli one night. Because I want people still, they could go to Jasper's. They could spend all the money you want.
Yeah.
And you could still eat there for under, $25. Mm-hmm. Or you can go over to Marco Polo's, get a sausage sandwich for $5.
That's great.
But the prices that we have paid, just the paper goods alone, is ridiculous.
Well, so take me through this. And, as I was telling you during the break, with 3 kids under 5, we don't go out to eat a lot. Although I did see, what was that? We saw you November, I think, that's probably the last time we went out to dinner together.
Sure.
But we saw you there. And just the cost of especially liquor in restaurants.
Unbelievable.
I was saying to you during the break, I used to go out when we go out. I would like to have 2 drinks. Out of principle, I'll only have one because I'm like, I'm not paying $15, $16 for a drink. Out of principle, I'm not going to do it. So what's going on there?
Think about this. Well, you know what? I mean, the liquor has gone up. And you know what? One thing about the liquor companies, they raise their prices no matter what. Yeah. Just like Coca-Cola, every year we get our increases. And you get a bottle of vodka that used to cost you $6, $7, $8 is now $21.
Is it really? At your wholesale cost?
You got to be kidding me, yes.
Oh, my gosh.
The bourbons. But people have not stopped with the bourbons. They're still popular.
Bourbon's in.
The bourbons, it's still in. And the tequilas and the what's the other, mezcal. You gotta be kidding, $40 a shot, and they buy it.
Oh, my gosh.
I was against putting it in. The kids wanted to put it in. I say the kids and nephews run the restaurant now. Yeah. And it sells.
Are you serious?
I'm not going to pay $40 a shot.
I'm not doing it.
Kidding? Maybe if I was 18 again one time for a birthday party, or 21, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For a birthday or something like that. But I look at the prices today of liquor and said, it's outrageous. And there's nothing we can do. But that's not only that. And I was trying to tell a customer the other night about, once you have 5 drinks, I got to charge you for a refill for a soda pop because what Coke charges us. But how about the ice cube? How about the glass, the dishwasher? Cornell did a study 35 years ago that a glass of water cost you $0.25. Now, how can you say water costs $0.25? The glass, the ice machine, the maintenance, the person serving it, the insurance, the building, your rent, and all. It comes down to $0.25 a glass. God knows what it is today, but that's not the problem. How about insurance? So it's not only the cost of liquor. When your insurance doubles in 1 year, it makes no sense to me at all.
No, that is, so your cost, the industry's going up, skyrocketing, and I get it. You got to pass some of that off, but it creates a tough spot for everybody, right?
It does. Now, we're very fortunate. People come out, families still come out. We had a lot of families. Parties of 8, 10, 12, because they know they come there and we give them a value on the food. It's a little expensive, $20, $25, but sure beats going out paying $65 for a steak.
Yeah.
And you get full, you get a nice dinner. We love everybody to walk away with to-go boxes. I love that when they walk out with to-go boxes.
That's the best,
Even though they cost me 37 cents. That's another story.
Oh, that is so true. So take me through then in the next minute where you're at, where the industry is at in this town, because you are one of the faces of it with your show on Saturday mornings and the people you talk to all the time.
I know a lot of restaurants are still struggling, still after COVID. I had some friends just tell me last week, they went to a well-known franchise restaurant, huge one, over off 119th, and the manager came out and said, we're short servers. So we're still going through that. We're not the restaurant, but we're still going through that in the industry right now because people have left the restaurant industry thinking there's something better on the other side, but then they come back and say, wow, I didn't know really how good I had it, waiting tables or working in the restaurant. So we went through that already. We've been through all that. I think the state of the industry in Kansas City, it's stable. There's no life support or anything like that needed right now. New places are opening, but some places are still struggling. Too many restaurants, I'll tell you that right now. I don't care. And I'm 61 years old. I can say that now. Too many places opening up.
Yeah.
Everybody wants their own place, and then you struggle.
Well, it's a cool thing to do. Everyone thinks they can do it, and then you're like, wait, this is not a lot.
A guy sits at the bar. I'll never forget that back in Waldo. And he sat at the bar every day and drank. He said, I'm going to buy this place one day. He lasted 1 year. He went back to the original owner. So
is that right?
Oh, yeah. I remember those days.
Well, it seems so sexy and glamorous from the outside looking in, right? Until you're working nights, weekends, and holidays.
Yeah, until you don't see your family. You don't see the kids grow up. You work 18-hour days. But in the end, it's very rewarding. And being here with you, come on. Things like this, for me, this is it. I love it.
We love having you here. We love having you as a teammate on KCMO. And
thank you.
We'll do it again soon, my friend.
Oh, thank you. My father always said, bene mangiare bene. It means eat and drink well.
I love it. Jasper Mirable on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM.